waiting for this.
You are now listening to Digital Suplex Radio.
I'm here with Shane. It's me, Darian. And this is what I wanted to talk about too. So check this out, Shane. All right, so I finally got a little bit of money in my pocket, right? So I go to www.shop.com, you know what I'm saying? And I'm pissed because they got rid of the Ron Simmons damn shirts.
Really?
Yeah, what the fuck? I wanted a damn shirt.
What they go and do that for?
I don't know, but they have like a bunch of bootlegs on Amazon and eBay. I really wanted a damn shirt. I don't know, and I finally got around the time to try to buy one. They off the damn website, so.
I mean, some of those bootlegs are a lot cooler than the original, like the official merch too. Because a lot of times, like artists will make these like cool bootlegs, and I like to get those. Those are really fun.
Yeah, I'm always a sucker for wrestling merch and stuff like that. So I was like, oh man, that's one of my favorite shirts.
I've collected a number of shirts for the last few years. I'm wearing one now. It's Japanese wrestling.
See, that's
American
cool.
Football. It's like the American football album with like the house.
Oh, nice.
Football, but it's Japanese wrestling in the Tokyo Dome.
That's sweet. That's sweet. See, I like little things like that.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Another week pro wrestling. A couple weeks of pro wrestling went by. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're gonna try to give our little takes, put our little 2 cents in. But Shane, how you been? What caught your eye most recently over the past couple weeks?
Okay, so there was some big wrestling Twitter drama involving independent promotion Beyond Wrestling. Have you ever watched a Beyond show?
Haven't watched a Beyond show.
Okay, so
at least not all the way through.
Yeah, so like here's what I'll say before I get into this. I like Beyond. They put on great shows. They always have great cards. They put on quality matches. They put out really consistently. They have like, you know, a few different shows and different like, and they work with this this like women's promotion called Women's Wrestling Revolution. And so through Beyond, they do like, you know, all women's shows a lot. They do a lot of really cool stuff. I like their setup. I like the whole vibe. Like, you know, a lot of shows they'll have, you know, fans, like they kind of let the fans like sit around the ring, like stand ups. Like you'll see fans like encircling the ring, you know, like, you know, banging on the mat and stuff. And like, so they're right there.
Kind of reminds me of PWG or something like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like that PWG vibe back in the day. And so they have this show on Thursdays. It's a live show on IWTV. It's called Wrestling Open. So that's one of their, like, you know, it's their live wrestling show. They live stream it. And so at this one, it was, you know, a pretty modest sized crowd. They do these shows in this place called like the White Eagle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like up in the Northeast, but it's like, you know, those little like, you know, VFW or like American Legions type, you know, buildings, like those old like American Legion posts, one of those types of buildings. Okay. So, you know, it's a small thing. So the fans were like sitting, you know, in the chairs, whatever. And there was a match involving Anthony Green, AG, the alternative Anthony Green. He actually was in 205 Live for a little bit under the name August Gray.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, they picked him up and they released him, you know, like everyone else they've been doing the last year. So he's back on the indies. And so when he's on the indies, his theme song is Heaven is a Place on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So like that opening note, ooh, baby, don't you know that? Yeah. So like whenever that hits, like, you know, because it's one of those, you know, big like stadium like pop hits. So like, you know, it gives like a reaction. So there was this fan who like the opening notes hit. And so like she like started screaming. And so she ran from her seat up towards the entrance, like towards the curtain. And she like stopped, she got on her knees and she was like screaming like, yes, you know, and she was just like, you know, rocking out, you know, she got up and then like Anthony Green came out and like, he was like, you know, looking around, he gave her a high five and then she, you know, ran back to her seat, you know,
nice.
And so that was that. So she posted a video of it, of that on Twitter, and Beyond quote tweeted it saying like, just for the record, we don't condone this type of behavior. You know, you're putting you know, wrestling fans at risk and like the wrestlers at risk when you just run up on them like that and scream and like, you know, like do that kind of thing. Like be mindful of your surroundings, you know, safety hazards, whatever. And it got a very, very strong reaction both ways, both from people who were like, well, what the fuck did she do that was so dangerous and wrong?
Right.
And then there were those that were like, yeah, that was fucking insane. And you should not ever act like that because that is embarrassing and cringe and obnoxious. And like kind of like what we were talking about, making it about yourself, trying to stand out, doing all that shit.
Right.
And fine. For like, you know, because me, I'm not that kind of person. I'm not gonna run up and scream like that. I don't do that. Like that's just not my energy. So I wouldn't do what she did there. But the worst thing that it was just a little annoying and cringe. Like if I was sitting next to her, I might, you know, move somewhere else.
Yeah, like you're a little cringe. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a lot to deal with, like that kind of like constantly like screaming like that and jumping around. Like I gotta put some space in between me and you. But I don't think, but that's just my like, you know, preference. That's not like I'm not taking a moral stance on this.
Yeah, so what were you hearing? What were they saying? Like, what was the nastiest shit you was hearing?
So some like there were some people that were posting like this is just so like this is embarrassing and fans need to learn like, you know, how to like, you know, act in public, and they're all under socialized nerds that don't know how to behave and just like really insane shit. And like, yeah, that she shouldn't have been standing up there like that and running up on people. That's so dangerous and disrespectful. Okay. And I'm like, but the problem I have with that is like Nick Gage is a wrestler, for example, whose whole thing is he comes out to the crowd, everyone gets up on him, everyone's high-fiving, everyone's crowding him, everyone's screaming, you know, Nick fucking Gage. And like that's one thing that people love about Nick Gage is that kind of fan interaction at the entrance. And for some strange reason, like because like she was the only one that was like doing this, like ran up and screamed, like most people were just sitting down. I feel like that kind of garnered this reaction from people that was like, I don't know, like just like read the fucking room and grow up and stop acting like children at a wrestling show. Stop behaving like that. It's, you know, embarrassing. And a lot of like words like psychotic and insane and like just like really intense words be thrown out at people. And then like there were the people like then there were like Beyond, like their whole thing was like, you know, they could have, you know, put people in danger. Like they were just crushing stuff like that and like, you know, just being reckless. And the thing about that is like, you already set up your shows for fans to more or less kind of just do their thing. Like y'all have shows where y'all openly let fans stand at the ring, which that's probably not super safe, but like, you know,
the first place,
it's wrestling's already like not a safe environment just generally. Like you have to kind of, you know, be mindful. You're gonna do stuff like that, you know, watch each other's back. So like the thing is, man, is like, so she ran up, so she stopped at the blue line where like that's where they have these like taped lines. They say don't cross these spots. So she went all the way up to that part of the line, got on her knees, was screaming, like bowing, like just kind of like all right.
She probably had some drinks in her, is what I'm hearing.
Like it was like, all right, like but like she didn't like, you know, get up on him and like touch on him and like, you know, try to like grab him or anything. Like she stood there and like she rocked out, and then like he gave her a high five. He gave her a high five and was like, hell yeah. And then she ran right back to her seat.
Okay. So that sounds like okay, go ahead. I was gonna say.
Yeah, and so when Beyond did that, they were like, we don't encourage this behavior. Like there's a lot of safety violations and wrestlers risk life and limb to like perform for you, and you can't just barge up on them like that. And Anthony Green quote tweeted, and he was like that's not cool. Like I want everyone to react like that to my fucking entrance. Yeah. So like he was cool with it. He didn't see the issue. So Beyond, their whole thing was they were citing like safety concerns and like, you know, behavior from fans. And it's like, you already let fans be
that close in the first place.
Like if you were so concerned about it, I don't know, let me get a guardrail or something.
Let me get these people a guardrail. But here's the thing, you know, when you have that environment, so it's like an environment. So, you know, you already set the tone. You know, we go back to ECW in the Hammerstein Ballroom. They were asking people to bring their own weapons from grocery stores down the street. So if you see a lot of people, and this is probably her 30th show or who knows? Yeah, like she probably knows the deal.
I heard like a lot of people were defending her and like, yeah, she does this a lot. And like, she's really fun. And like, you know, she's a cool person. Like she just is really loud and like really passionate.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So, you know, she already knows what the deal is. She knows to respect the wrestlers, but she was just I don't know. I don't want to accuse her of being drunk or nothing like that. But like, you know, maybe she was in the mood where, you know, was having a good time. Like you hype. This is like, I don't know if it was the first match on the card or something like that, but you know, she's very passionate about wrestling. So I feel like it's weird on Beyond's part to, as a company, be like, look, oh no, we don't fuck with her. No, she weird. But like, I don't know. I don't think if they hadn't retweeted and been like, this is weird, then I don't think it would have been like this domino effect, like what you were talking about, where people on different sides.
It wouldn't have been anything. Like, because
it's
not
nothing.
weird. It's not unheard of for people to do this at shows. Like GCW shows. That whole thing about GCW is it's like this big open environment, and like, fans are everywhere, and like, they don't really have these barricades necessarily, and so like whenever you can walk up to like, on the like stand on either side of the entrance ramp, and you can scream, you can stick your hand out, at a respectable level, and you're not intruding and being obtrusive to the wrestlers, and like people do that, and it's like kind of just a commonplace acceptable thing, and
Right.
they've already like they've already set that standard of allowing fans like this kind of really close access already. So like it's already a dangerous thing just generally, like just because wrestling's a dangerous sport. Like you kind of have to, you have to acknowledge that and like so I don't know if you saw the video. If you saw,
I'm looking for it as we're talking about it right now. I'm really trying to look for it. It's
on their Twitter, so like you can look at it and you can kind of see, like, because for me, I'm like, all right, yeah, she's maybe a little obnoxious. Like, that's not my style of cheering. But what made people mad the most was that she was the only one who was that intense. So it made it look as if she was like being more overbearing than maybe she would have if more people were standing and screaming and jumping, because it's not unheard of for fans to do that, like, at all. Like, there's nothing at all that was weird about the behavior other than the fact that she was the only one doing it.
Right. So she was the odd one out, and it kind of made everybody like, whoa, what is she doing?
And so some people were like, this is embarrassing behavior. Like, you should never do this at a show. And like, she needs to like grow up and learn how to act and stop trying to stand out and make it about yourself. And it's like, I don't see anything particularly weird about what she did.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the thing too. It's like if she go back to her seat, now she ran up on him, tried to hug him and walk down the entrance with him.
See, like, she stopped like that. Right at that line. Like, there was like, you could see the tape line. She stopped right at that line, did her like thing like in her little bubble. She got on her knees and bowed and stuff. Like, she was just being kind of crazy, but she never like jumped on him. She didn't like try to grab him. Like, he went up for a high five. She gave him the high five. And then she went right back to her seat. Like, that's the end of it. Like, that was the whole thing. And the wording of the tweet was like, she had basically performed, like, she basically committed some sort of social crime and put everyone in danger. And I'm like, all she did was like run up there really quickly. Like, yeah, I mean, I guess she could have tripped, but that could happen at any fucking point, anywhere in that show.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see what was so.
Yeah, I think they're being a little hard on her.
All the replies were just so like really intense and like passionate one way or the other. And it was like, I don't think it was that notable to even discuss.
Woo, she's screaming. Okay, she's standing right there. Oh, bro, there's nothing wrong with that, bro. She a little cringe, but
yeah, like, it's like annoying a little bit. Like, if I was at the show, I probably wouldn't want to sit next to her.
Yeah,
that's at every single show I go to. There's someone doing some weird shit that I'm not super into, but like, they don't like deserve to be like shamed on a public platform like that. I mean, that was on her account. Like, she posted it, so obviously she has no shame about it. So I mean, power to you, I guess.
Yeah, and they did make it seem like she just did some unreprehensible shit. Like, all she was doing was just, and then she screamed. She waited right there.
So someone quote tweeted, I won't call any like names or accounts out. It says, to the people saying, wow, I guess Beyond don't want people to have fun at their wrestling shows, I say this, are you fucking insane? Like, so that's what he said here. And then he went on, he had a whole thing.
There's the high five. There you go.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people are like, what the fuck is she doing?
Yeah, like, it's kind of like cringe. But like the people, like, there was like one that was like, if you don't think this is like psychedelic levels of embarrassing, I don't want to go to wrestling shows with you. Like, you shouldn't do this. But it's weird that like this is the one thing that we're finally calling it out for, based on like how wrestling shows just are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's a whole thing. And so people that I follow, like on like people that I generally like respect and like, they are on like diametrically opposing sides to this.
Uh-huh.
Like there are some that are like, no, fuck that girl, fuck what she did, and she does not need to be at shows doing that shit. Like, and there's people that are like, well, Beyond clearly just doesn't want people to engage, or like they have some weird double standards of like, okay, so that wasn't cool, but yesterday's show, the show that they had, everyone was crowding the ring. Wrestlers were coming in through the crowd, getting patted on the back and like people jumping with them, and it's like technically that's more intrusive to the wrestler than what she did. She was just a little obnoxious and it stuck out a little more just because like she was the only one at that level.
Right.
So like I'm not saying like, oh, that was cool and fun, like hell yeah. I'm just like, what are we? Why?
Yeah. Why is this a thing? Yeah. I don't know why Beyond. I don't know why, and then I don't know why Beyond went out their way to be like, this girl, we don't condone this though. This is weird. This is yeah. I don't know. I don't know why they made such a big deal out about it. If you don't want people, like, here's the thing, bro. Like, let's be real. Beyond Wrestling ain't that. I don't want to talk too much shit, but Beyond Wrestling ain't that that big of a promotion. So if you do have fans that are this enthusiastic about your talent, then you should be happy. You doing something right, or Anthony Green doing something right.
Like the independent level, they're like
right.
A pretty respected one. But yeah, like you said, like they still run small venues. They still only have smallish crowds. So it's not like they're whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Trying to burn the building down or something.
Yeah, exactly. There's some crazy. Look, there's crazier shit that wrestling fans have done. You know what I mean? Like
that's what I was saying too, because I was like. Because I responded to someone on not on the show account.
No, that's cool.
Account. Yeah.
Whatever gets us more followers.
Yeah, on my own account. I was like, look, I mean, yeah, it was annoying, but she didn't do anything that was like that much worse than some other stupid shit wrestling fans do. And this person was just like, I disagree. This was, awful. Like, this is so embarrassing. And if you don't do live performances, you might think that this is okay. But as someone like who does live performances, I think shit like this should never be allowed to happen. I'm like, all right, whatever. Like that's just a really intense like view of it. But
look, let me tell you something. If I was a performer or a wrestler or whatever, like if somebody had that much enthusiasm for me coming out, that would give me a boost of energy. If she's not hurting nobody, yeah, she loud. Yeah, kind of. I wish she wasn't that loud or whatever. But I mean, we at a wrestling show. You know what I mean?
And if maybe the crowd was bigger, if there was more of a more like amped vibe, maybe it wouldn't have stuck out that much.
Or if it was 10 girls running up to Anthony Green, maybe that would help her case or whatever. Because she being like, I've been at local shows, like local bands, local hip hop artists, stuff like that. And I'm like, hell yeah. I'd be the only one yelling, or it'd be like 1-man mosh pits, 2-man mosh pits, and I'm still in the mosh pit or whatever like that. Like that goes to show a lot for her. I give props to her for being that brave to stand out like that. Fuck what everybody else thinks. I'm supporting this thing right here. But yeah, I guess I would say be mindful for the people around you. But y'all, come on, y'all are coming to a wrestling show. She screamed. Okay, she ran back to her little seat, and then it is what it is.
Like, I think people are trying to make it the equivalent of like if a fan ran on stage to like in the middle of the performance. And like, that's kind of how they're looking at it. I think they're looking at it as if she's making the show about her. And it's like the only reason she stood out is because no one else was doing anything.
Nobody else. Yeah.
So if like everyone else was doing it, it would have been like the crowd is just hot.
Right.
And, they want to see this wrestler. And like, at a wrestling show, the whole point is to get the crowd like going. So the performance is, you don't want a, timid crowd the entire time.
Oh yeah.
You're trying to because the entrance is like, 90% of the whole thing. If you get hot at the entrance, like they're going to be ready to go for the match.
Right.
It's like, that's a whole part of it. So like wrestling is a different type of live show where like there is a degree of like fan interaction with the show, and literally she didn't cross any lines, like
yeah, for real, she stayed behind the barrier, okay,
and she was like she was yikes, Like I probably wouldn't want to hang out with her. Like she's probably not like the type of person I'd want to hang with because I just don't have that. Like that's not how I roll. I don't have that kind of energy. I don't do that. You know, it's not my thing. But
I'm the same kind of person. I'm the same kind of way. Like I'll get hyped when I need to get hyped.
Like I'll cheer loud and like, you know, from where I am, like, let's go. Like, but I don't like, you know, sprint through shit to like, you know, you're like, that's like, you know, watch out a little bit. But like, it's the like the degree of how serious this was taken.
Right.
Like kind of how out of proportion it was like blown up.
Yeah, I guess she. I wonder if she's gonna go to the next Beyond show.
I mean, apparently she's one of the regulars, so I think she's there a lot. And
she needs to come out again. Like, she needs to come out again. Probably not do that same thing, but when Anthony Green come out again, she needs to get just as hype. You know what I'm saying? But probably not like
he loved it. Like he retweeted it and was like he retweeted Beyond's thing and was like, wait, this isn't condoned. Like I want everyone to, you know, react like that when my music hits. And wrestlers, I think they want that. Like they want people to fuck with him because he's like, you know, he's a babyface. He wants the support. You know, he's got a song that's just like, you know, one of those epic, you know, type of songs.
Yeah.
You know, for wrestling at least, and like.
Yeah, the least you could do, and like
I guess chill a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but still, it's still good to show enthusiasm and support because I was talking to Kyrie too. If y'all haven't checked out the interview, go ahead and check that out. But I was talking to him about being a face and a heel, and he was talking about like, hey, look, you know, it does kind of suck. It is kind of hard when, you know, you don't get like that reaction you really want. But once you do, it gives you like a heartbeat. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, they're watching, they're paying attention. Even from the entrance, like you said, the match don't start when the bell rings. The match starts when you come out. So to get that little push of energy, to get that little push of support, you know, don't hurt nothing.
The entrance is like the wrestler presenting themselves, you know, like that's their introduction. Like here's the energy I'm giving you, and like here's my whole thing. Like here's my presentation, and like that's part of the whole thing. Yeah, that's, you know, that's part of the match. That's part of what makes wrestling so cool. Is like all of it's, you know, a part of it's all part of it.
Yeah, it's so many different pieces that go into it. The whole production, not the production, but like the whole performance aspect of it. Entrance, going to the match, and leaving too. So, you know, shout out to Beyond Wrestling. Shout out to that girl. Shout out to Anthony Green, man. What a crazy ass situation, bro. Twitter, boy.
Yeah, Twitter's insane.
I was gonna say, speaking of Twitter, you want to go ahead and pop it off with Homeboy, the AEW hater or whatever? Like, what's going on with him?
Oh yeah, man. So as we know, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling. They're doing the show. Did you watch the segment they did on Dynamite for it?
Man, I seen fucking Tony Khan do not need to be on TV. Let's just segue real quick. Tony Khan, bless his heart. I know he excited. I know he got some money. I know he been a wrestling fan, but he is just such a nerd, bro. But here's the thing, like, if I was like that, I had that kind of money, and you know, I had that kind of pull to make these kind of deals, I'd be hyped too. Trust me, I would, but like, I don't know. It's just the way he presents himself.
It's funny when he tries to like yell.
New Japan! Like, bro, like.
So what my favorite one, the first time I ever heard it, was when Giannis Antetokounmpo like came to Rampage. Like Giannis was because they were in Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, yeah.
And so like Tony Khan brought out Giannis, and he was like, "Oh my, okay, everyone. This is a big one. We're excited. It's still MVP. It's the Greek Freak. Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm like,
he is so excited and ecstatic.
Yeah. People riff on him like he's probably like, you know, doing a bunch of cocaine.
Uppers and shit, Adderall and all that shit.
Like doing rails and then coming out on TV and like.
And I think it would help that if AEW has some kind of on-air general manager or like, you know, figurehead. I think that would help. On-screen authority to kind of like, you know, convey the messages better than Tony, because Tony, he is making the moves, he is booking and stuff, but you need somebody on screen to kind of like.
And I think he's really like, you can see it more and more as they get like these bigger deals and a little more exposure. He gets a little more like believes his own hype just a little bit more each time.
Dude, you know he did that. He did that when I forgot what it was, but he was like when he was working with Impact.
He's always been like that.
When he was working with Impact, he was like, I realized I'm the forbidden door. Shut the fuck up, Tony, bro.
Yeah, like
he's so corny, bro.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, to what degree is, you know, performing a character, but at the same time, I'm like, he's probably that weird.
No,
he probably is that weird.
The best Tony Khan promo was when he first came out. This is his first ever TV performance. And Kenny Omega, I forgot what he did. He did some whole ass shit. And then Tony Khan was like, "You have 9 days, Kenny. 9 days. You have 9 days."
Oh yeah,
you remember that?
Because he was because like it was I remember the context because like Kenny gave Matt Sydal a match on like Dark Elevation. If he needs like if you can win this match, I'll give you a title shot on Dynamite. And so like, Kenny did some shenanigans, tried to get out of it, whatever. I don't remember what happened, but like, yes. But then Tony Khan was like, no, that's not how we do things around here. Kenny, you gotta be like, the way he like tries to like, bellow out like that. Like, it's so weird sounding. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, he sound like a Matt Stone Trey Parker South Park character. He sound like the adults in South Park. That's what he sounds like. Bless his heart.
Oh yeah. Like
like kind of like Stan's dad. He kind of sounds like Stan's dad from South Park.
Yeah,
bless his heart, man.
Oh, speaking of South Park, I mean, like that's Daly's place in Orlando where they used to do all those shows.
Oh wow,
that layout was inspired by South Park.
Did not know that.
Yeah, he tweeted about it.
Oh, we have to know. We had to know.
Yeah, so like he tweeted a picture of like a scene in South Park when they did like wrestling, when like.
Oh no shit!
Remember that episode?
WTF?
Yeah, when like it's like when like WWE came to South Park and like it inspired the kids to start their own wrestling promotion, and like the whole thing is like they were like the only thing that makes you a good wrestler is like your promos and like how you're like your skits. Like they didn't even like focus on wrestling. So all they did was write like these scenes.
Yeah, and it was like soap opera.
It was like that like amphitheater side arena, like that's set up. That's how he modeled. That's what he modeled like the Daly's place set up after.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
In South Park, yeah. But anyways.
Did not know that. But anyways, Tony Khan's ass, what's he talking about? Oh yeah, so the AEW NJPW New Japan Pro Wrestling show. Yeah. Honestly, I thought this was inevitable. Like once we started seeing, I think it was Kenta when he came to AEW. I'm like, okay, they're gonna do something with NJPW.
Yeah, I think he was probably like the first one that like made that like big impact with New Japan, like on AEW, right?
Yeah, they didn't really follow through with that too much. I think Jon Moxley went back and forth because Jon Moxley had the US
title, so like he defended it against like Yuji Nagata and like and then like Lance Archer. Archer defended it against one of the Bullet Club guys.
I forgot Lance Archer had it.
Yeah, but he only like won it like in Dallas like for the moment. And like he dropped it like the next week or like 2 weeks after that, whenever like
Yeah, it is what it is. It was cool. That was cool. That was a cool spot though. That was a cool little moment for him.
It does feel like kind of inevitable because Moxley's already has a deal with New Japan. He goes on New Japan Strong. He was their US champion. And like members like of the Best Friends are like in the New
Chaos
and Chaos. Yeah. So like they have that like intersection there. And people were like, because everyone, dunks on Tony because like Tony Khan has a major announcement. It seems like every fucking 2 weeks he's got another damn major announcement.
He did that to himself. He did that to himself.
Like, no, I believe in this one just as much as anything we've ever announced. Like, and so like everyone was like, okay, so like, everyone knew like it's got to be the New Japan show, right? It's got to be what it is. Like everyone, through all the behind the scenes stuff, they kind of figured it out. And to his credit, I think they kind of like tried to make it an interesting presentation because Tony Khan got out there, the New Japan Pro Wrestling president got out there, and then Adam Cole immediately showed up on the screen, and he made the announcement. And
which kind of is dumb because it's like, bro, if nobody knows the announcement, how the fuck does Adam Cole know what Tony Khan's about to announce?
And people were saying that too. And and I didn't think about this at first either. And like I was kind of wondering, like, well, what's that about? So someone wrestling journalists and stuff, they were pointing out that like this kind of announcement would have been something that like Kenny Omega would have made like, because of his relationship. Like he was the IWGP champion. Like he was a part of the reason why the American fan base in New Japan is the way it is because of his matches with Okada. And like
that's facts. That's facts. That's how I found out about Omega.
Yeah. And so like so people kind of like look at him as that kind of bridge.
Right.
And so like Adam Cole is in this interesting spot, right? Because like he kind of feels like he's not as high as he probably like he was in other companies, like he's not getting like those. it doesn't feel like he's getting those big spots. I mean, even though he was in the championship matches.
Mm-hmm.
So people are kind of like looking at it as sort of like this long game for Adam Cole, because now he's got, you know, the Elite or the, you know, the Young Bucks, and he's kind of like trying to refill that spot that Kenny Omega would have typically had as that kind of leader of that group of people. And so they're kind of looking at it. They're kind of like proposing that maybe it's like this kind of long-term kind of plan of like Adam Cole, like inserting himself
as Omega.
Yeah. And kind of like stepping over Omega to try to like, and that's probably going to set up something in the future, because like, you know, Adam Cole was in Bullet Club.
He sure was.
Yeah.
And Hangman was too. But the thing about it is, you know, and I wish Adam Cole would have had a better start to his AEW run, or at least a stronger presence. Because that debut, like at All Out, that was pretty dope.
That was awesome. Yeah,
that was awesome. That was an awesome debut.
But it felt important.
The Orange Cassidy shit just ruined it for me though. Like,
really?
I think, you know, I think this is where we different in opinions right here. Is where it's like, you know, I fuck with Orange Cassidy, like he's funny and shit, but like, bro, he do not need to be in those serious storylines with like longest reigning NXT champion, you know, New Japan Bullet Club member. He don't need to be in no serious ass storyline with Adam Cole like that. No. You know, and I know Adam Cole's a dope dude. Like he's so cool. Like on his Twitch streams, he'll take time out to answer people's questions.
He's nice.
He's very nice.
He's like one of the nicest people.
He has the gaming channel with WWE when they had up, down, down and stuff like that. Like he's super cool. He's very nice. I just don't like how he's being used right now. You know what I'm saying? But you know, maybe that'll all work out later at a later date. But so Adam Cole right now is kind of like, you think is the kind of like the avatar for Omega in this whole New Japan thing.
Yeah, because he kind of feels like he's kind of like still trying to like assert himself and find his place. And I don't know if like I subscribe to like that theory that people were pointing out, but that is one thing that people mentioned. And like it kind of like it could track, I think. Like I think it has some, you know, you could make that argument. I don't really know how I feel about it, but like that's some things people were saying about like kind of why Adam Cole kind of hijacked that spot, was kind of as like a way to, you know, undermine Kenny Omega and, you know, take that moment that would have probably been Kenny Omega's,
right?
And Adam Cole took it, because you see Adam Cole like, you know, trying to, you know, make, you know, call the shots with the Young Bucks and with Red Dragon. Like he's trying to be that guy that like he was in NXT, like kind of that leader, but now he's got Omega there, and like Omega's, you know, gone out of, you know, with injury and stuff, taking time off, and like Adam Cole has kind of tried to, you know, take that spot.
That's cool. Like, and if this does play into like a storyline, okay, that's fair. You know, that's cool, whatever. At the same time, bro, I don't think it would have been nothing for them to just get, hey, Kenny, hey, can you make a video real quick?
Yeah.
Hey, we got the AEW New Japan deal. Yeah.
Because the next time you see Kenny Omega, it's gonna be because he's back, and it's gonna be big.
Yeah, and
he's not coming off for like a one-off announcement, and you know, back to the shadows.
True. I get that. But he did accept his AEW award, or for whatever that was. That he did accept that.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a thing. I don't know if he did on TV or maybe it was like online exclusive. But like, I don't know if it was like a Meltzer award. I think it was like the AEW awards, like match or some shit. Like he was like, "Thank you, I can't wait to be back." And I'm really, you know what? And here's the thing on Omega. Like Omega used to be like one of my favorite wrestlers and stuff like that. But then I kind of started. I don't know. I kind of got red pilled, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of got red pilled on that side of like, oh, you shouldn't be goofy. Oh, you shouldn't do that shit. But the more Kenny Omega is gone off TV, the more I'm like, man, I can't wait to get back, because he showed you feel like a bigger champion than Adam Page.
Yeah, and you know, and that's not a knock on Adam Page. I don't think
it's not.
I think Adam Page has done everything he possibly can to be a great champion. I think he's done a good job. But it's like I said before, it's just like there's so many people there now that just kind of have more attention. And I think it will be good for Adam Page with the CM Punk feud. Because like that's going to be, I'm pretty sure that's Double or Nothing is going to be CM Punk and Adam Page.
Which is
and
nice.
Honestly, I think if they want to make Adam Page kind of that, you know, that sort of long-term ace of the company, which I feel like they want to, like I feel like they want him to kind of be that spot. I think this would be a good match for him to lose, because it would I think it would probably up, you know, that sort of like he's still kind of chasing it, you know, like because like he beat Kenny, and like he's defended his title well, but But I think if Punk takes it off of him, I think that will create more. I don't know. Like I think it'll be better for him in the long term. I think.
Yeah, and give him
in terms of like trying to get back to the top,
and then maybe win it back from CM Punk, and then he'll be like the 2-time.
Yeah, maybe he loses it, and now you can move into this phase of his arc with, okay, I was at the top for a little bit, now I'm back down. How do I get back up?
Okay,
like,
I like that.
What kind of stuff? Like, where do I have to go to do that? Like, how many? And then we see like different, stories play out through that, like on his journey back into prominence. Because I do think they really want, because he was like, because he was in the first AEW title match with Chris Jericho, and I think they really wanted him to kind of be like that future kind of like long-term ace of the company. I really think they do, and I think he can be. Because I think the people really behind him, everyone loves cowboy shit.
Yeah,
like he always gets strong reactions. Like it's
getting better. It's getting better.
And it's like I think the peak of that was like when he was really chasing for the title. Like that was it, because everyone wanted to see him win it. And so now that he has won it, so what do you do now to kind of make it more interesting? And stakes. What if he loses the title? What if CM Punk takes it? And that can create some more opportunities there.
I do think that it kind of hit a wet fart. We're gonna go back to AEW New Japan, but I do think it kind of hit like a wet fart a little bit, because Lance Archer was his first that
was his first feud.
Yeah. So it's like, bro, what I'm saying? Like who was around? I cannot do any thinking right now, but like I don't know who was around at the time that was like a top heel. You couldn't do MJF because MJF was busy with Punk, I think. You couldn't do like, I don't know who you could have done, but it's just something about like Lance Archer, and Lance Archer came out of nowhere, really. You know what I'm saying? Not in talking about as far as the title picture.
He just kind of showed up a little bit.
He just kind of showed up and was like, oh, okay. And they had the little Texas death match, which was cool. But I think that was the wet fart that kind of like was like, oh, okay, this is the time.
And like to their just to kind of be optimistic. Like I feel like that's like a lot of it's like in the booking of it, because a lot of times like things that could be way cooler and like could make more sense, like Tony Khan's booking like can just feel like he doesn't give things enough time and investment compared to other things. So like things that should probably be a bigger deal end up feeling really small. Because it seems that like his attention is like elsewhere in terms of like what he's really like investing in and like what he's really, giving the time to. And so, yeah, it felt kind of like they're like, well, all of our best, Kenny's gone. Adam Cole's, kind of come up, like, he couldn't immediately insert himself. He had to be there for a little bit, because Lance Archer had been there for a while, but like that was his first one. And then I think they like, was Danielson after that? After Lance Archer?
Oh, that's a good question.
They had those two matches that were incredible.
No, it was Danielson first. First. And then it was Lance
Archer. So Danielson got there all out. Then they had the the Full Gear, like they had the tournament, the AEW title tournament, which Danielson won.
Right.
And he got the title match. Was Lance Archer like in between that at some point?
Oh man, I can't even think.
I'm trying to think, because who did
I know they hit the draw first. It was the draw, and then they had the rematch, and then Hangman won that one, and that's when it was hot. And that's when, and actually, bro, I'm gonna write something down because you made me think of something. We'll get to it later. But they were hot for that. For that first match, they went to the draw. Second match,
because Hangman won it at Full Gear. He didn't win it at All Out. He won the title at Full Gear. So yeah. So Kenny was still champion. Yeah. So that's when he took it, and Danielson won the tournament at Full Gear.
Right.
So I think.
And then he said, "I wanted to fight Kenny, but you won it," or some shit like that.
Yeah, like I would rather fight Kenny, but you got the title. So, and so then they had the match the next week, and then, I'm trying to get my time.
And then it was like a draw, and then he's like, "Okay, we can run it back." They ran it back.
And Hangman won it. Yeah.
And then Lance came in, and everybody was like, "Oh, this is the next." I think this is what the problem was. Here's the problem. You had this big ass contender in Daniel Bryan who did some of his best mic work and best wrestling leading up to like taking out the Dark Order, et cetera, doing some of his best heel work in a while. And so you had that big ass feud, and it all culminated with Hangman finally winning, and then it just goes to Lance Archer.
Yeah.
So
because I think
all the eggs on one basket a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think it would have been a bigger run if what if Adam Page and Bryanson had a more extended feud? What if it didn't happen immediately, right there? Because it was literally they both won and then they fought.
Mm-hmm.
Would it have been a little different? Would Adam Page's run as champion been a little different if he'd had a more high profile kind of feud? Because he didn't really feel like he didn't have that, even with Adam Cole, it's still main evented, right? And it's still he's still champion.
It was something off about
but
that.
Adam it didn't feel high profile. And I think a lot of that has to do with, I've said before, with the CM Punk MJF story. That was the feud.
Yes. It was undermined by the CM Punk MJF storyline, of course, which was a great feud.
And the whole Bryan Danielson and Moxley pairing, everyone was really wondering where that was going to go. And so that match, that whole thing, had kind of taken people's attention. So you have those two, these legends, Bryan Danielson and CM Punk, in their own right, both having their own incredible, these incredible storylines. Yeah. And then Adam Page, unfortunately, he's still headlining the show, but it didn't feel important,
And you know what? And I'm going back to what I said before. You talk about undermine. Adam Cole would have been, I feel like, a more better contender if he wasn't doing the stuff with Orange Cassidy.
Yeah,
my opinion. But that was a little detrimental to the ending product of now I'm gonna fight Adam Page, but it's bro, you lost against Orange Cassidy. You lost. You it's lights out.
Yeah, so maybe he wasn't really booked super strong.
He wasn't booked.
Yeah, but really that's what comes down to is how these start, because in NXT, Adam Cole was untouchable.
That's what I'm saying.
When you think about his booking,
mm-hmm.
And you think about compared to the NXT champions that came after,
right?
And when you saw Adam Cole went through NXT basically unscathed in terms of his position and how important he felt.
Bro, a Roman Reigns of NXT right back then, bro.
Yeah,
he was the Roman Reigns for sure. Yeah,
and then the Undisputed Era, that was Undisputed Era. They stole the show every week.
And they had all the belts. And they had all the belts too. And they were he was flanked by his homeboys who had all the belts. And that made him look even better.
Yeah. And then remember that Survivor Series time, November, when they did he fought Seth Rollins and Daniel Bryan when he was Daniel Bryan on SmackDown and Raw.
Something like that.
I think he won those matches too.
See?
And so he was protected so well in NXT. And because to me, I still think Adam Cole was probably the best NXT champion, and probably in terms of that black and gold era,
mm-hmm.
I think Adam Cole was the best one.
I think he was
the
too.
Best superstar.
He
personally. I think they wanted it to be they wanted that show to revolve around Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Gargano, but Adam Cole just dominated.
Yeah.
And I feel
he played that role well too.
He hasn't really dominated here so far, but
he hasn't.
Hey, we got still time. We got to let it play out, as they say.
Yeah, we're just gonna let it play out, guys. But
I think a lot of that's the WWE brain, in us a little bit, because we're so used to our favorite people getting treated like shit that we just assume all hope is lost when something bad happens.
Yeah.
And because typically with Vince McMahon's world, that's how it typically is.
That's just how it is. That's what he's shown us.
Once something dumb happens, you're just well, they're done. That's over.
Yeah.
But see here, to their credit, AEW overall, I think, has been pretty good about long-term booking and long-term stories.
I gotta give them that.
That I think even these small parts where your frustration of why is he doing this weird kind of gimmicky stuff with Orange Cassidy? Maybe that could be used to further him somehow if they if he does get to move forward and continue to be presented. And I don't think they're done yet with Adam Cole, because
of course not.
Yeah, they're not done with him at all. He's
mm-hmm.
I think he's eventually going to be champion. I think he just is that, but it's going to come down to, again, like you were saying, make him feel important, put him where he feels important, because he felt important in NXT.
He sure did.
And he felt important when you heard that at All Out, when you heard it's all about the boom. That crowd was loud.
Hell yeah, because he was coming off his run from NXT.
Yeah, you think about everyone that had to suffer with the NXT transition, he got out right when it ended. He didn't even have to deal with any of the
rainbow
stuff,
colors
Kyle O'Reilly did for a little bit.
Yeah, he was cool. Kyle.
it was kind of a hangover in there.
Yeah, that cool Kyle fade. That was weird. But
Yeah. It was like, because I stopped watching it really. And I'm like, once they were on USA, I didn't really watch it much because I think that's when that's when I could tell it was the beginning of the end for that like era of NXT. Because I was like, yeah, there's something off about
going
this
off subject a little bit. Have you seen the recent NXT stuff, like at all, any of it? Bro,
unless something comes on my timeline, no.
They got Braun Breaker. Rick Steiner got kidnapped by this like John Wayne Gacy gimmick guy, and he got put in a cage. And then they got like a double date segment. It's so lame. But they got some good talent though. They got some new good talent on there. Nikita Lyons is awesome. You know what I'm saying? I think
people on Twitter love Nikita Lyons.
Man, they love a lot of things about her. You know what I mean?
A lot of things.
They love a lot of things about Nikita.
With wrestling Twitter, like they are. Good God. But people are okay with posting about themselves and the things they feel about, really hot wrestlers.
Yeah. But they go crazy over Nikita Lyons and a lot of new like Solo Sikoa is pretty cool. I know I mispronounced his name. I apologize, but he's the Usos brother. They doing some cool stuff with him.
And I think there's one wrestler that has like a talk show, like
Lash Legend.
Lash Legend, yeah. I think I've seen like people are pretty big on her. Like people tend to like her. I think.
Yeah, I think they tried to make her like a Wendy Williams parody, or something like that. So we'll see where that goes. But there's a sprinkle of different cool characters and cool things going on in NXT 2.0. But the production just completely overhauls everything. It's so Bruce Pritchard. It's so Vince McMahon now. Like it's just. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's never gonna go back to Triple H. Like it's never gonna go back. That was we didn't know what we had with NXT. I would stay like people, my homeboys, we would be going out on Saturday nights and I'd be late meeting up with them because I'm watching NXT takeovers. Like they were so.
And I loved how they did takeovers because they did them Saturday nights. Mm-hmm. They did them like at 7, and they were only about 2 to 2 hours. Yeah, they were like really lean, like 5 matches, but like 5 matches with high stakes, like because they modeled themselves basically after Ring of Honor, PWG, because
that was WWE's indie promotion.
Like, William Regal was going to like scout at those shows, and like that's where they were bringing all the indie wrestlers in, and they basically made it a big budget WWE like version of an indie promotion. And
they executed that mug perfectly.
Like they were selling out constantly, like every takeover.
Well, crowds hot, all the crowds were hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And even like the booking made sense, like. Everything was so logical, like everything like flowed so well.
Right.
And then something happened when AEW came on the scene, like something went on in like their whole like perception of what they thought of themselves, and they tried. I don't know. It didn't feel the same once they came on USA.
Nah, they got shook for real. Like they were like, oh shit. Like I think what happened was I think they got a little bit. Not jaded, but like they were like, okay, they were comfortable. But then, competition brings the best out of both competitors. So they're like, oh shit, we gotta step our shit up. But then instead of worrying about the product, they were worried about like, okay, let's look at these time slots. Let's try to get viewers away from them instead of like improving their product. I don't know what happened. I don't know when they were like, okay, fuck Triple H, we gotta get him out of here. That's the problem. I don't know when they were like that. Because he was like, honestly, NXT was like the best thing WWE had going from that little era between like, I guess it was like 2018 to 2021.
That was the peak of like, so like, I think, because I started getting back into wrestling. Like I would watch WrestleMania pretty much every year, but like that was the only thing wrestling I would ever watch just to kind of dip back in around when WrestleMania season happened, just to kind of see what's going on. But I wasn't watching consistently in college. But then like it was in 2017 is when I got into it, because that's when like the Bullet Club was blowing up. Like they were huge. And so I was like, I was kind of looking at New Japan a little bit, and I'm like, wow, I've never like had access to this type of stuff. And so I was kind of slowly getting back into it. And then like 2018, towards the end of 2017, like that was like the first NXT takeover I watched. And I was like, holy shit. And I was watching the NXT TV like weekly, like, cause even their Wednesday shows were like awesome. Cause like they were building these like really long-term stories, because, they didn't do the WWE thing where it's like, let's do a pay-per-view every 2 weeks or 2 to 3 weeks a month. Like they would do it sort of like the way AEW does it now, where like they would space it out between TV and the big specials. So they had like all this time for TV to build something. And like, they were just so fun to watch because you got to see like stories evolve, characters evolve, and then like there was that anticipation for when NXT Takeover came, because you're like, oh great, there's only like 3 or 4 of these out of the year. Like that's the big ones. Like you get people interested by kind of, making it feel special and not like just constantly shoving it down your throat.
Yeah. Another thing they didn't do is rematches. I hate how WWE does rematches. How many times have you seen the Street Profits versus RK Bro? How many times have you seen this person versus this person? And then one person from this tag team and one person from that tag team from last week, they in a singles match, and then you switch them out, and it just gets so repetitive. But NXT didn't do that.
They're literally, their next pay-per-view is literally WrestleMania Backlash. Remember everything you saw at WrestleMania? Let's see if people, let's do it again.
And they just started that, I think, like 2 years ago, last year, something like that. Just running out of ideas, man. Like,
and it's like they're always playing like hot potato with titles, and just that 50-50 booking where it's like, you got one, I'll get one.
Yeah, win one this week, and you win one next week, and then now we both look like shit. Like, nothing matters.
It's all just pure chaos and whatever.
Yeah, but but what I was saying, going back to what I was saying, actually, I'm gonna touch on that real quick, and I'm gonna get back to what I was saying. I do like that they put the title on Austin Theory. Don't like how they doing Finn Balor. So it's like, you know what I mean?
Finn Balor is, one of the best. Like he was like one of the best like light heavyweights of
junior heavyweights in New Japan,
of that generation of wrestlers, and
just lose every goddamn night he go out, he loses. Pin Balor. Pin Balor, bro.
Pin Balor.
You know what I mean?
Personally, I don't give a shit about Austin Theory. Like, he doesn't do anything for me.
You're not fucking with Theory, huh? You're not fucking with Theory.
He seems so bland and like just kind of.
Oh yeah. Huh. Okay. I mean,
boring to me. Like, there's nothing interesting to me about that.
Okay, I do like how he has,
and like with the whole allegations thing. Like I'm.
Oh
he's kind of a nonce. So like he's.
Got you. And well, you might want to turn off your television, because I think they're gonna strap the rocket to Austin Theory. He got what Vince McMahon wants.
Yeah.
He got the body. He got the he's pretty good in the ring. I like what he does in the ring. As far as the gimmick and everything like that, he has the gimmick, selfie gimmick, stuff like that. So he has a gimmick, he has the title. They strapping a rocket to him. So
I honestly, and I think a lot of it is just like, as I've these last few years, kind of as I've kind of like branched out a little bit and kind of found like different types of wrestling, to kind of feel like what like really excites me about wrestling. I found so much stuff that where it's like, I feel like I'm watching wrestling a lot different than when I used to watch WWE. So like WWE,
right,
it just doesn't really do anything for me. Like,
you've seen so much other different shit that what wrestling could be, what like, going. It's not
I'm so fixated on like what's going on in the independents, and like I've got like I'm watching like a lot of Japanese stuff recently. Like I'm getting into like Stardom and DDT, like Tokyo Joshi Pro, and I don't know, like I'm just watching wrestling so much differently now that like, man, like I can't even imagine wanting to sit down and watch WWE television on like a Monday or Friday night.
We're talking about Bryan Danielson or whatever. And the thing is, how do you like the Blackpool Combat Club now, couple weeks later? Because I was going to say Daniel Bryan was doing his best heel work, et cetera, with Adam Page. Since he's been with the Blackpool Combat Club, which I do like the faction, he's not getting really no mic time. And I feel like they're going to start throwing these dudes in a lot of these 6-man trios matches. And AEW does put on exciting TV and stuff like that. But I feel like they kind of sometimes overdo it with these multi-man matches. It's cool for dark elevation. All the fans get to see all their wrestlers at once. But I hope it doesn't get too saturated to where we don't see anything from a singles. And of course, it's early on to the little storyline. But I hope Daniel Bryan does not get lost in this like tag thing or whatever. You know what I mean? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think he will. I think because the thing about Bryan Danielson is people would argue, like there is an argument to be made by like a lot of people that, Bryan Danielson may be like the greatest pro wrestler to like ever live.
Say, man. Say.
And I mean, if you look the Ring of Honor, and if you just look like he is, and it's insane because he's like 40 now, right? But like he's still performing at the like exact same level. And now that he's in AEW, maybe even a little better.
I think he might be in his prime right now.
Yeah, like because he's able to do the things that he wants to do in wrestling.
Right.
Because he said like he was never on bad terms with WWE. It was just they were never gonna
let him do that style.
To accommodate his style of wrestling. And he was like, I don't know how many years left I have, but like I got to do the things that I want to do, like creatively and like as a performer. And he's
right.
And really, what it was is he wanted to kick the shit out of people and bleed a lot. So,
and I'm liking what I'm seeing so far.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. As far as the 6-man, I think so far they've been really fun because they really showcased all three of them, and I think they might just be doing that to kind of show the audience here's what these three guys do together,
right?
And to like really kind of get them interacting with each other in the ring as a team. And I think they'll get, because I think Mox and Danielson are probably gonna be doing a tag thing for a little bit and kind of molding Wheeler Yuta. I don't know. I feel like they're gonna add some more members like at some point. Like I don't think it's just gonna be Wheeler Yuta. So like my thing is like I'm wondering what the path is now, because now that it's established, the Blackpool Combat Club is a thing. There's merch. It's they've like Wheeler Yuta as a part of it. Now it's like this thing people are really hyped for. So now it's how do you keep that momentum going? Keep it interesting, because like the build to it was so fun to watch. And like for me, like my favorite wrestling stories are always about the journey to that moment that you're trying to get to. And I feel like with the formation of the club, like with the Wheeler Yuta match and John Moxley, that kind of felt like that big, this is like a fully formed thing now. It has a fully formed identity. And so now everyone's hot about it. And so now you're wondering, they've been in these 6-man tags. Where do they go now? Like, because now they're just established. Right. And I think these 6-man tags are trying to like establish them as a team that works together. And I don't know what's next. I think.
Do they go for titles? Like, do they go for the tag titles? Because honestly, right now, what's it called?
Jurassic Express.
Jurassic Express ain't doing it for me. They're not doing it for me. I'm sorry.
I tried with Jurassic Express.
They're not doing it for me.
I tried, especially with Jungle Boy. I think they're probably setting up Jungle Boy's. He's gonna have to go. Like, he's probably gonna have to get out of that.
They're gonna have to, they're gonna have
because,
to.
Because he's being pushed. He's like one of the 4 young pillars. So like they want him to probably be like a real star, in his own right. And I feel like the Jurassic Express was like a fun thing for him when he's starting out. He's young. He's on the come up. It's fun. Like he's getting his feet wet, and like you hear it, like, and I don't know if it's just JR not knowing how words work, or like you hear him calling him Jungle Jack a lot.
Jungle Jack Perry. Jungle Boy Jack Perry.
Yeah. And so like, so some people are kind of like wondering if that's kind of a sign that they're trying to really get people to see him as Jack Perry, instead of just Jungle Boy. Because, and like, because he lost that match to Kyle O'Reilly, right? For the Owen Hart tournament.
He might have. I don't know.
It was Kyle O'Reilly and Jungle Boy, and that was the match.
Okay.
And so Jungle Boy lost. He was frustrated, and then Christian, their mentor,
right? He walked out on him, right?
No, he came, like, he didn't walk out on him. He came down the ramp, and like I could see in Christian's face that sense of like, man, these guys just aren't really cutting it, are they? Because here's the thing about Christian.
Right.
He's like, I think he's a face because like he's just such a respected legend. Like people like respect him for just being so underrated and not getting the props that he really deserves. But the thing is, man, is when he is like just like an evil piece of shit, he is so much fun to watch.
Yeah, like Christian Cage.
I love heel Christian. Like
I like Christian Cage back when he was in TNA 2005, 2006, when he was going up against Kurt Angle and all them. Yeah, that was a good.
Even looking back in like 03 to like 05.
Oh yeah,
with the peeps and stuff, and like and he was just so annoying and like so. Yeah, he was really good at it. Looking back on it. Like,
bro, Christian, I forget how hateable Christian was. Like,
and he's so great at it. Like, he can really get heat. There was one clip, I posted it on the Twitter. I retweeted it on our Twitter. And it's like he was back when he was Intercontinental Champion back in like the early 2000s.
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. What is it?
Long hair. He's like stole, like he gave the kid his glasses
He
And then he
the
just took
bitches,
him right back
right?
from him and like laughed at his face. And I was like,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes. That's some good shit, man.
Yeah. And so you
He
saw
had-
that. And then like, so you saw that on Dynamite. It looked like there was some frustration there. And it's like, I feel like they're probably going to, at least kind of how I'm looking at the story, I think Christian's probably going to be the one that turns probably on Jungle Boy.
Right.
And I think they might have a feud, because I really think Tony Khan, they're really trying to position Jungle Boy as like a single star, to not just be seen as Jungle Boy, but to be like,
Jungle Boy Jack Perry.
Jungle Jack Perry.
Jungle Jack, bro. Hashtag Jungle Jack in the comments right now. But I'm down to see it, and if that makes Jungle Boy kind of get away from the Jurassic Express, because I was not feeling Marco's stunt at all, bro. You already know what I feel about that. But I just think that whole little act is cool. That reminds me of like OG AEW. Like that's the hardest.
When they were hot, like they were bringing in people you hadn't really seen before, and like so they were new, and so like it was different, it was unique. And there's a ceiling on that. There is a ceiling on that once you get to it, you're like, where do we go now? And I think we're getting to that point.
Yeah, and they got the tag titles.
Because I think once they lose the tag titles, like I feel like that's going to kind of be it. I kind of feel like we're in the beginning of the end for them. I
do not see them being 8-time Dudley Boy ass tag team champions. You know what I mean? I don't see that. But so we're gonna see where they go with that.
Yeah, I agree. Like I'm kind of like I liked him a little bit in the beginning. Like I tried to. Luchasaurus, he still was like, I still wasn't fully all in on him.
Me neither.
I guess I'm not. And still, like I get it. It's fun, but like.
I'm sure he's a nice guy, but like, damn, dude. Sometimes when he messes, I know, and it's nobody perfect, but when he messes up, it's very like noticeable. Like I don't know who it was, bro, but like it was like a dark match, and like they had to tie up, and you do the Irish whip into the corner, but like they messed up the spot. I forgot who he was going against. He just like pointed to the ropes, and then the guy just started running, and then the whole what was it? Who was it? Not Laredo Kid. What's his name? Off of the Lucha Bros. Phoenix, like almost broke his goddamn arm with the choke slam. I don't know.
Yeah. That was nasty. That was nasty.
But there's so many people talk about Jade Cargill, and I'm gonna get on her, and then we can go from there. But like, bro, when Luchasaurus messes up or botches, it's tough to look at sometimes. And people want to talk shit about Jade Cargill all you want. She just now getting into the business. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And she's like getting better every
fucking match. So if you want to shit on somebody, well, which you shouldn't. We shouldn't be shitting on it. But like if you want
everyone to do well. We want to
you know what I mean? Everybody does great. But if you want to criticize somebody, look at things that are like very like noticeable instead of like nitpicky. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody can see like, whoa, what the fuck was that? And like I feel like big men doing flips like Samoa Joe, cool. Keith Lee, cool, because they can control themselves. I feel like Luchasaurus does look a little sloppy when he tries to do these cruiserweight moves a little bit, and it might be harder since he's big as hell. Like, trust me, he's a big dude. He has the great look, but I don't know. I feel like it's getting a little old. We'll see where they go.
It's getting a little stale, and I think especially with like the push they're giving FTR right now.
Woo! They on top of the world.
They're on top of the world.
They're on top of the world, and this is what they wanted when they got out of WWE. This is exactly.
And it took a little bit. I felt like because they came in like with pandemic,
weak start. Yeah,
it was a really weak start for anyone that was supposed to be like bigger than they ended up being.
Matt Hardy got it the worst though. That was fuck. But anyway,
So it took a little bit, and like because even for me, like here's the thing, like FTR is one of those teams where I look at them and I go, you know what? I understand and accept and would never argue with anyone that says they're probably the best tag team like on the planet
today,
now, or one of the best tag teams of all time. And I wouldn't argue with it, and I'd probably be like, yeah, there's a case there, sure. For some reason, like they just don't do it for me. I just don't connect.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, but like it's nothing really to do. Like it's really nothing bad on their part. I think it's just I don't know. I guess I just don't know how much I'm connected to like that old school.
They wrestlers, bro.
Yeah.
They wrestlers.
Because I like some of the old shit, but like, I just don't know if like that's my brand of like stuff that gets me. But I'm kind of like, trying to be more open-minded about it because, because like they've had some great matches. I acknowledge that. And like they're actually, facing each other and the Owen
That's pretty
Hart.
cool. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
Owen
I
Hart
like
thing.
that.
So like, yeah. But anyways, like because of like, you know, they're AAA champions, Ring of Honor champions, they're having like the run of their life, which I'm absolutely go for it. Like
I'm with it.
I think they do deserve it. It's just it's hard for me to care about them, but like I get it. So I feel like I don't know, they might be the next champs. I don't know who they're probably setting up for tag run.
And that's the thing about AEW that's cool too. I'm gonna get back to FTR, but that's the thing about AEW too is that they have so many like competent tag teams. Like when you think about WWE, who the fuck is a tag team? But when you go back to AEW, you got Red Dragon.
They're like teams. They're actually
that are like team ass teams. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But FTR, let me tell you something, bro. FTR are like probably like I don't know favorite tag team right now. I mean, it's always gonna be the New Day, but FTR is definitely today like probably the best working tag team in the business.
People called that match with the Briscoes like one of the greatest tag team matches of
it was sick. I went back and watched it. Oh, I wish I would have went. Oh, I would have. Oh, yeah, that was.
Yeah, the crowd was hot.
Yeah.
And so like I'm all for it. Like I totally get it. I'm not like I don't like. It's not like I do see it. It's not like I don't see it, but it's like I don't know. Like it's been over the last few years. Like FTR was never one that like really grabbed me, and maybe that'll change now that like they're being booked the way they are. So like they get a chance to really be the stars that they are capable of being, and they're really doing it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but so I feel like because like Jurassic Express, they just don't feel like champions, really, and like they're probably gonna drop those soon. Like I see it happening.
Yeah. And they've had their time with the belts. Like this ain't no quick thing. They had their time with the belts.
They got their run, and I think really it's more of a vehicle for Jungle Boy to get more singles opportunities. Right. So I think they're probably gonna break them up soon. And then hey, maybe you'll see Blackpool Combat Club like with Mox and Danielson. Maybe they make a run for the tag titles, and maybe you get Yuta in the. Because Yuta's the ROH Pure Champion.
Yeah. So they already got some gold.
ROH. Yeah, they got gold. And so I think there's a lot of opportunities. Maybe they get him in the TNT title picture, because you're fucking God, that belt needs some.
Woo! They fucked that belt up.
I don't know what's going on anymore.
Fuck that belt up, bro. Oh man, real quick. Let's get into this.
Miro was the perfect champion. Miro was killing it.
I'm gonna get into the TNT championship stuff. And I'm probably gonna rap in a little bit because my dad calling me, but I'll call him back in a little bit. But let's talk about this TNT debacle. You understand? Yeah. Check this out. So, Cody had that. I'm gonna go all the way back. Because this is they fucked this shit up. Cody,
because Miro was an amazing champion. Like it felt important.
Yeah.
It stopped feeling important when he lost it, and then like everything after that was just what the fuck is happening.
So Cody had that hoe and then dropped that bitch back. No, and then Sammy won it or something. No, Sammy won it from Miro or Cody won it from
Miro.
Cody won it from Miro. Sammy got that hoe off.
Sammy won it from Miro.
Sammy won it from Miro. From Sammy. Flipped that bitch back to Cody. Then flipped it back to Sammy. Right? Yeah. Then
Sammy beat Miro.
Right.
Then that was his first run, and then I think Cody won it from Sammy,
right?
But then Cody like left for like disappeared, and then Sammy was the interim champion.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah,
and they had that match
to unify the champions.
So yeah, and then so Sammy was the interim champion, and so
he was holding both. Yeah. Remember, he was holding both the titles, and then Scorpio Sky came in and swerved everybody like, oh shit, he actually won it. And then he gave one of the belts to Dan Lambert. So now there's only one belt. And then out of nowhere, this is when Sammy and Tay Conti started like really kind of like healing it up. And and you were there at that show, weren't you? Where they came out. Yeah. So so the reports were true. Like everybody was booing them out the building or what?
Yeah, they were not fucking with them. They were not fucking with.
And they sweetened it up when the show actually aired. They were like trying to sweeten it up, make it look like it was a mixed reaction, aka a face reaction.
Yeah, like I think because everyone's just annoyed with them.
I would have been one of them. And you think of the demographic of AEW. Let's be real. I'm an AEW fan. We not the coolest. We're not the most hippest. We're not the most, whatever you want to call it. So when you get these two attractive people coming out, oh my God, we're a couple. Oh my God. Nobody wants to see that shit. At least the AEW.
And to me, Sammy is just so hateable to me. There's just
Been
something
saying that.
about him.
It's his face, bro.
Something about him, just like, fuck you, man.
Yeah,
I talk to him as a person or whatever, but like, I just don't buy him as someone to get behind.
Yeah,
I want to hate him. He's easy to hate to me.
Yeah, and I think
he's got that fuckboy energy that I just like despise.
And the crowd feels that, especially when, like we told the story over and over again. Ain't nobody ain't nobody ask you to propose in front of your legit girlfriend in the ring and make us, like, you made us try to. This wasn't no dark match segment, or maybe it was. I don't fucking know.
It was after he won the title.
And you propose to your girlfriend, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, so beautiful!" And then you dump her out of nowhere, and then get with Tay Conti that quick. 2 + 2 = 4, bro. We knew what the deal was.
And then you don't shut the fuck up about it. Every single day.
Yeah, that makes it worse. That makes it a little bit worse.
They're constantly like, "Yeah, we fucked with the titles. We fucked with the titles or whatever."
You might want to clean that.
Yeah, it's like, what? You fucking nut on the damn title?
Nut on the title, bro? Yeah, bro. Bro, that's disgusting. Like, I don't want to get behind you.
And so they've been just throwing the title back and forth, because I honestly thought they were going to give Scorpio Sky like a real, like, strong, like, long run.
I feel like plans got changed. Something happened to where they were. I think this is Tony Khan's thing, because Tony Khan, as much as we dunk on him, bro, he does think like smart fans.
So yeah, because he was like on the wrestling forums like back in the day. Like he was in that culture. Like he was one of those smart to the business people. So
I think he pulled Scorpio aside, like, look, man, I'm sorry, bro. Like, look, I'm gonna give you a little stipend or something like that. I don't know what I gotta do, but look, this ain't personal. The fans ain't fucking with Sammy. So to build some heel heat and to really put some shit on him, we're gonna put the title back on him and then have this little heel, because I think that's what they're doing right now, is trying to have this heel run with Sammy. I almost said Sami Zayn.
Because they are getting a little more, like, you can tell they're not trying to like play up to the crowd.
Like, oh no, they're a heel act
they
now.
Say things that like they know they're annoying.
Yeah.
And they're kind of starting to be assholes.
Yeah.
Because I was at the show, I don't know if it made it to TV because I was at the Battle of the Belts. Like even like towards the end, like, because they have the face tunnel and the heel tunnel. The baby face come out of this one, the heels come out of that one.
Which is smart, by the way.
They did the thing where like, they were walking up and like they were like starting to go to the heel tunnel and they were like, oh no, we're the faces. And they like, smugly walked through the baby face tunnel and everyone was like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah. That's cool.
Cody also did that too. Cody did that.
Shout out to Cody. Like, yeah, they know what they're doing, but yeah, I feel like it's gonna come. But do you think that this was the plan the whole time, or like they're gonna be like? I think they were trying to push Sammy as a face, bro.
I think they really were, and like it just didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
It worked for a little bit because there were times where Sammy was getting really hot reactions. Because I've never really been on the Sammy Guevara train like at all. So, but like I did notice like he was getting cheered a lot for a little bit there. But I think now that like his gimmick is now like guy with a hot girlfriend who won't shut up about it.
Yeah. That's his gimmick.
Yeah.
You know what I
mean?
And
and it's just they've made the TNT title just feel like dumb. Yeah. Like it just doesn't. I don't care. Like it's just not important. Like I loved it when Miro was champion, and I know he needed the time off, deserves it wherever he is. Miro, we love you. Please come back whenever you're ready. But I loved Miro as champion. I love Miro. He's gonna be a world champion. Like he's got everything. Like I love Miro.
Yeah.
But like, and then like a lot of people were pointing this out on Twitter. They were like, all the things you could have done with that TNT title. They were pointing out people like Ricky Starks.
There you go.
Will Hobbs, Swerve Strickland, Keith Lee. Mm-hmm. Like all these opportunities for people, like good people, or like, to have the TNT title. And we back to Sammy. And I think it's all just about Sammy and Dan Lambert now, apparently too.
What the fuck? Yeah, Dan Lambert.
Because now, like, I think Scorpio Sky is doing a rematch with Sammy. Also now,
that's a lot of hot potato. That's a lot of hot potato.
Kazarian did like a little interview, and like it looked like Kazarian was gonna be at the top for a TNT title shot, and then Scorpio Sky came and was like, we're boys, right? So you're like, basically do me a favor and let me have one shot, and then like then I promise you'll get the shot right after, because I'm gonna win it. It's gonna be us. But of course he's not gonna win. It's Sammy's. They're doing that thing. Unless I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if they could drop it back, I was down to see a long, lengthy reign from Scorpio Sky, so he can like.
Too. I thought
like at least 3 months.
Yeah, like give him a few months, like because what he when did he win it? He didn't win it at a pay-per-view, did he?
He won it on TV because it was a swerve. Because everybody was like, "Oh, there's no way Scorpio's winning," and of course they let Scorpio win. And I was like, "Okay, cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that they did."
So it only lasted for like a few weeks then. At that point, yeah.
It was about a 3-week reign, but maybe 2. I don't know. It was like 2 or 3 week reign.
And like, see, I get short reigns. Like I know, and like sometimes you need short reigns, and like I understand, like not everyone can be champion for a year. You don't want that all the time, but like. The way they've been doing the TNT title, it's like it's losing value the way they keep doing that.
So here's what they need to do: they need to take a Daniel Bryan, or they need to take a AK, whoever the fuck, and like somebody really dope, and just put it on them and let them run with that mug like a good lengthy time, like a good.
Because personally, like, because for me, well, I am excited, like to see Swerve Strickland as much as I am on AEW. He's doing great shit with Keith Lee. I think that'll be a fun little tag team for a little bit because they used to tag back on the Indies when they would go to like Europe, like in Ireland and stuff. They would have teams, like they've teamed before,
right?
But now we're seeing like on a larger scale, and it's awesome. Like, did you watch? Did you watch the dark match they just did recently?
I did, with the springboard off his own chest. Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, and then like the combination swerve stomp, spirit power bomb.
Yeah,
like he has the power bomb, swerve does the swerve stomp on top of them, comes down, and Keith Lee does a sit. So cool. Like that's
cool as hell. Yeah,
yeah. And so, but like even then, like man, Swerve Strickland's a guy that I think if you put the TNT title on him, man, I think he can do some really good shit with it.
I believe he can.
I really fuck with Swerve. I think he's got like he just oozes that like that swag. He's got the sauce, man. Like he's just got it's magic when Swerve's on the screen.
Yeah, and they got a lot. They got a lot of people. Like they got him. They got a lot, and they got a lot more new people in too.
They have these great people in the mid card that like I think are ready. Like because I know like it was like I've been waiting for like Powerhouse Hobbs to like for them to pull the trigger on him.
It's about that time.
Yeah, it really feels like
he's in that Team Taz bubble though, man.
Yeah,
and, they
like,
fused last 6 months.
Is obviously the star of that, just because he just has that he's just the center. He just gets the spotlight. Like he just is a star. Like just his charisma, like his promos, and just like how he presents himself. Like he's just so cool. But like I feel like Powerhouse Hobbs, like man, because I kind of wanted to see him win the ladder match at Revolution. Like it makes sense that Wardlow got it. I understand it, and I'm like totally cool with it. And like the way it sets up for with the MJF stuff. But like there was part of me that was like, man, what if they gave it to Hobbs? Because they still could have done the Wardlow stuff with MJF and like had that feud still. Like it didn't really have to revolve. Like it didn't have to be set up with the way they did it with him like getting screwed out of his TNT title shot.
Yeah,
they could have still done the whole thing. And like if they gave Powerhouse Hobbs that opportunity, like maybe he could have had a great match with Scorpio Sky, and like maybe he could have gotten like a real good singles push. And he's one of those guys, and I'm like, man, I can't wait for him to like really get that push because I think he's so talented.
He'll get that one day. And I've seen Powerhouse. He's another person that he came up on the AEW scene like near the end of the early phase, and he's improved so much as far as his physical appearance. He's getting more leaner.
Yeah.
And then he's improving in ring. He was never trash in the ring.
Oh no,
you know what I mean? So like now of course he black. So that's awesome. So I'm always gonna get behind him. So I'm liking Powerhouse Hobbs too. That he's gonna get his moment. I know that's coming. Whether it be the ROH Pure title or some shit like that, like he's gonna get a belt.
I think once we see what ROH is gonna become, I think some of these questions are gonna have some pretty cool answers.
Here we go.
It opens up for so many interactions between these two companies and these two promotions.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
Oh no, and it was like with New Japan, like because they're open to working with people. So I think they allow themselves to never run out of opportunities for people.
Hell yeah, man. So bunch of exciting shit happening, bro. I'm excited for the AEW New Japan show. We're gonna see how that goes. I feel like of course it's gonna be something big that happens at that show as well. So I'm looking forward to that. Anything else you wanted to get off, or anything else you looking forward to, or wanted to shout out, or anybody you want to shout out?
I don't think so right now. Can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Yeah, well, I just want to say thanks to everybody who's been checking us out. We got a couple new listeners on the little podcast feed thing. Nice. So that's pretty cool. Also check out, we on everything. We on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, same old shit. Check out my interview I did with Kari Wright. Cool dude, awesome dude. He's gonna go far too. He's very passionate.
I like Kari Wright.
Great guy. And he's a chill dude, like in general. So like, if y'all ever see him at a show, probably don't run up on him and scream and get on your knees, but like, still be like, Kari,
show him some love. Yeah, show him some love.
Show him some love from a nice, safe distance. You know what I mean? Yeah. But check out the interview. That's on YouTube too. And that's pretty much all I had. So, for Shane, for me, hey, it's been Digital Suplex Radio again, and we are out.